Friends, this is part 2 of my story. I hope you are also waiting for me to continue the story as I was waiting for Sheila to continue her story. Finally, Sheila started. Sheila's mother was also a nurse and used to go on private duties. Sheila, being the eldest daughter, had to look after household duties and the younger siblings. Sheila's father was unemployed and an alcoholic. Her mother used to be away from home on day or night duties. Sheila stopped her story there. She just could not continue with the story. She again started sobbing. I looked into her eyes and asked her, did your father abuse you? Friends, I have never ever witnessed a 40-year-old woman cry as if there was no tomorrow. She was shivering like a leaf. Sometimes in life there is suffering so unspeakable, a vulnerability so extreme that it goes far beyond words, beyond explanations, and even beyond healing. In the face of such suffering, all we can do is silently bear witness. So no one need suffer alone. That is exactly what I did. I just silently witnessed her grief, her guilt, her anger, and her helplessness. I just extended my hands and held both her hands in mine, allowing my hands to pay homage to her emotion. What cannot be termed as professional can definitely be defined as healing. The warmth of my hands must have conveyed to her through my hands, because she suddenly became very calm and she told me that she could not bear that trauma day after day, and that is why she set herself on fire. Unfortunately, the neighbors came and saved her. Her body was saved, but her spirit just died. After she recovered from her burns, she took up a nursing course for which she had to stay in the student hostel. She kept herself as far away from her father as she could manage to do so. She had just completed a nursing course when she met Ramesh, who at that time used to come to meet her friend in the hospital. After a few months of acquaintance with her, Ramesh offered marriage to her. To permanently get away from her father, she agreed to marry Ramesh. At that time of her marriage, her father had told Ramesh that she had suicidal tendencies and had tried to commit suicide, which has resulted in the burnt marks on her body. Excuse me, friends, I wish to have a dramatic aside here. The only thing was that the father forgot to tell the son in law that she had tried to commit suicide because he had been raping. Aside over. From day one, their marriage had never worked. Ramesh's mother, who herself was a woman abandoned by Ramesh's father, had seen to it that Ramesh and Sheila never enjoyed a normal married life. She was so possessive of Ramesh that she always made him feel guilty that Ramesh had abandoned her and now Ramesh had abandoned her in her old age by marrying Sheila. She never missed the chance of insulting Sheila and imposing her presence and wishes on the married couple. Finally, Sheila managed to convince Ramesh to hire a flat, leave at license, and move out. Sheila was employed as a nurse and Ramesh was a freelancing singer earning occasionally. Over the years, Sheila had substantially and after taking loan from the bank, they had purchased the present flat. After all the material needs were taken care of, her thirst for knowledge started increasing. She was not satisfied with a degree in nursing, she wanted to study more. She started attending medical and nursing seminars, workshops, and conferences, where she met Dr. Smith from the US, who, on seeing her enthusiasm for learning new methods, offered to sponsor her further education in the US. Here was a chance to go abroad and learn new techniques for helping relieving pain and suffering. She asked Ramesh for his permission. Ramesh willingly agreed to send her to the US and promised to take care of their son Raju. Ramesh encouraged her not only to go and study there but also establish herself there and if possible, call him and Raju to do it. He wanted to try his luck at singing in the US. Although her education and her travel was sponsored by Dr. Smith, Sheila had to earn her money by doing small jobs. Dr. Smith had a friend whose father was very old and bedridden and required a night nurse. The friend was prepared to pay for the night duty. Dr. Smith suggested to Sheila to take up that job. Sheila started attending daily to the old man at night. He was in the last stages of cancer and hardly any time left. Sitting next to the old man every day and watching his life ebb away, she was suddenly reminded of her father, who also must have been of the same age then. In spite of the irreparable harm and damage that he had done to her, she was suddenly filled with forgiveness for her father and started praying for him that he may die peacefully. After she returned to India, she learned from her sister that father had died on the very day when she was praying for him. Friends, it takes a very large heart to forgive such a sin against the very dignity of a human life. She had risen above all the human feelings. She had broken all the fetters of shame, guilt, anger, and resentment. She had risen like the phoenix, risen from the very ashes to which she had banished herself from life. After Sheila had unburdened herself of the secret locked deep within her for more than 20 years, she felt a free woman, free of all the fetters which she herself had put around her feet. She appeared in court very smartly dressed, and her body language had changed so drastically that even her husband was taken aback. Even the burnt marks on her body had changed their shade and become much lighter in color. Reading the reply and seeing confidence in Sheila, the husband, who was so sure of getting a divorce on the next day, became shaky and unsure of his immediate victory in court. Sheila was ready to fight for her rights, and the battle could continue endlessly. As a gesture of goodwill, Sheila returned all the articles belonging to Ramesh, including his music books. Ramesh was ready for a divorce. He agreed for granting access to the child, paid her 2 lakhs as alimony, and handed to her the documents pertaining to the flat. I really admire the calm and peaceful way in which Sheila behaved in court. She had genuinely let go of all the animosity which she had towards Ramesh and his mother. There was no pettiness in her. She had cleansed her heart, mind, and her very soul of all bitterness and negativity the circumstances had triggered. There are so many questions in life which have no logical answers. How Sheila was able to forgive her abusive father, or how she was able to gracefully withdraw from her husband and mother-in-law, I never really understood. Suffering is indeed intimately connected to wholeness. Suffering shapes a life force, sometimes into anger, sometimes into blame, self pity, and eventually it may show us freedom of loving and serving life. Today, Sheila is living in an ashram and doing voluntary service in the hospital. She is indeed the phoenix which has risen out of its own ashes. I have learned the meaning of forgiveness and wholeness from